ready anymore. We're actually in the middle of a fabulous show.
We already have had an amazing time.
It was gold. I hope that people were tuned in and were able to hear what we were talking about before the show, because it was really good.
It was, oh my God, what a great energy we have. We have a ton of really good guests. But before we go to them, do you remember Peter? We met Peter at a function at the mining thing.
Yeah.
Okay, he's watching today, and I promised I would say hi to Peter and hello from your favorite Martian. He calls me a Martian because he thinks I'm not from here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just noticing it. See this monitor over here?
Yes. We've gone back in time. We're now black and white.
It's like we're in the 50s.
I know. That's really cool. I love the 50s.
Yeah.
I love black and white pictures versus color pictures.
Yeah.
It's
different.
They add so much more character and
Something, it's weird, isn't it? Like, you don't really know what that's all about. But, I mean, even those retro movies like Elephant Man that they filmed in black and white, even though it was like done in the 80s.
They had color. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that our theme music? Just for a sec. It's okay. We can leave that in.
It's more dramatic.
What? That's
the black and white.
Why is that?
You know why I think it is? I think it engages the viewer more because you actually have to imagine the color. Well, so it actually brings you in.
That is what Marshall McLuhan would have said.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I believe it.
Because, he said TV was a hot medium because it involved the audience. You had to recreate a lot of that image that you were seeing, right? So
I hate going to movies that do everything for you. You know, all the sex scenes, all the action scenes, when they kind of lead you to it and then cut it off and let you imagine it. It actually engages the viewer more. I find that more interesting, more stimulating.
Well, think about it this way too, because this is actually Easter week, right?
Yeah.
Friday's Good Friday.
Good Friday,
right?
Yeah.
Think about Jesus for a minute as a media character, because a media, if Jesus was like live on HDTV, the thing is we don't have pictures of Jesus, photos, we don't have videos. So what Jesus is to people is a lot of what people put into it, right? So that ups the mystical element, the mystical quality so much more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So maybe if they met Jesus, they would be. I don't want. It would.
It might take away from.
Tarnish.
Or maybe it wouldn't, because we don't know. Because maybe he was everything he said, or everything that he was, and more.
I love Peter Gabriel. I thought if there's any musician I'd love to meet, it'd be Peter Gabriel. Then I thought, you know what? Maybe I don't want to meet him because I don't want to tarnish my image of him. I don't want him to be human to me.
Oh. I just saw a new video with Peter Gabriel now but he's like now he looks like he's now beefed up.
Oh, really?
He's like an older guy. He's shaved his head.
Wow.
And he just looks like
we like shaved
heads.
You
don't know who is this? Oh, that's Peter Gabriel.
Is he singing?
An elder statesman type Peter Gabriel.
Is it a music video?
Yeah, he's got a new music video.
And how does he sound?
Sounds as good as ever.
I love him. I love him. Before we go on to the next guest, I just want to say happy birthday, Dad. It's his 80th birthday. It's my dad's 80th birthday. Love you.
Well, you know what that means? Because it's also somebody else's birthday today.
So I heard. That is so cool. Another That Channel miracle. I don't know what it is. It's so weird. Every time I'm on this show, there's something like that. And one more. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Another one who's watching is Dorota.
Oh.
Hello, Dorota.
Oh, hi, Dorota.
I
just met her.
I know.
Yeah.
She's the librarian. They settled the strike. So a shout out to all of the librarians. I'm so happy you guys are back at work.
I wonder if they're happy.
I hope so. You know what? You got to have either Maureen O'Reilly or Dorota on the show so they can talk a little bit about them.
I've had Maureen on before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way back. And Dorota was trying to set us up with somebody during the strike, but the strike's been settled now. So.
But you know what? It still would be good to talk about the library system and how much they are a part of the community. Well, it's way more than just books.
Not only that, but Dorota was saying that there really is pressure, and it's not. There's long-term pressure on everybody, including the librarians, just to kind of pull the rug out from everybody, from the middle class, from civil society, from civilization
and
itself.
Everything is going private, and you have to pay for everything. This is one of the things that it's really a hub. A lot of people go to there to use the internet. It's a real hub. They have all kinds of workshops there. So it can be like a school, a learning center. So we really need to keep those things going.
Yes.
Okay, I've said my spiel, sorry.
Well, we said it was somebody else's birthday. Let's just tell everybody who we've got coming on the show. Happy is here. And
happy birthday to Happy.
Happy is 77, And it's his birthday today.
That's
so
a
he's
magic number.
got
That's a master number. Just so you know, happy. 77 is a master number. Check that out in numerology.
I think he already knows that.
Oh, he probably does.
And
everything.
Joe the Investor is here.
Yay!
Always
Joe.
great to talk to Joe the Investor.
He's always
and,
got some good advice.
And I think he's found a new guest for his show. Michel Emond is here.
Yeah, they're chatting. They're both about money. They're money guys.
Absolutely. And we've got some blockbuster stuff because Michel is leading a charge to sue the World Bank for a lot of stuff.
And he wants to erase the world debt.
Erase the world debt? What's wrong with that?
And he's got a very cool plan. He's actually, I think I should introduce Michel to Peter, because Peter's going to think Michel's not from this planet. Because his idea is out there, but it's doable.
Well, because he lived on the same street as you in Sudbury when
Yes,
you grew up. So Sudbury is
it's called
actually,
Alien Street, don't
and we
Mountain
know
Street.
Sudbury is actually an asteroid that fell to the Earth, right?
Isn't that where the astronauts went for the moon to practice going on the moon? So there you go.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. I think they brought us back.
That's where they went to practice to pretend to land on the moon.
Because we know they really did, right?
Who built the moon? Okay. Also, Allison Harvey will be in here. I just met her at an event last week. She's coming in. She's got this event called Tone, small business event, and Kate Ashley Mullin's coming in.
Excellent.
So it's a big show. Let's get busy.
All right.
Let's talk about something. We could be negative and stuff like that.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
As long as it's raising
you
awareness.
mentioned getting off the grid.
You know what? Because during our conversation before we went on air, you were making something out of nothing. You are so good at that, Hugh. You can just make things out of thin air. And I thought, you know what? You're like a MacGyver. You'd be really, really good off the grid.
Well, I want to be off the grid. Everybody should want to be off the grid.
Yeah.
And we got a video here that's going to show you a little bit that it is possible for everybody.
No matter how much you know or don't know, because I would be one of those people who don't know a lot.
Exactly. So let's just watch this, and then we're going to come back with Happy as Liquid Lunch gets underway on a Wednesday. Oh, before we go, we have to say hi to Ernest. Ernest,
miss you.
Yeah.
I do miss you,
He's
Ernest.
moving to Ottawa. Maybe he's already moved. He keeps telling he's going to move, and then he keeps calling back from Newmarket. Okay, let's watch this. It's the fuel-less video. This is about how to get off the grid.
Excellent.
And we'll come back with Happy right after this.
Can an electric motor and generator be made into a free energy device to run your car and your home? The answer is yes. Can an electric motor and generator be made into a free energy device to run your car and your home? The answer is yes. Now this is our new free energy demonstration kit. It clearly demonstrates how free energy is being collected by our fuelless engine motor. This is not a trick of any kind. There are no hidden wires, and there are no hidden power sources. As you can see, if this was a power source, the needle would be moving. There's nothing in it. Now what you're about to witness is a free energy being created right before your very eyes. But I'd like to first demonstrate the output without the free energy device connected. So I'm going to disconnect that right now. And get my neodymium magnet. You can see it is a magnet. Iron. Now as the magnet falls through the PVC pipe, it passes the generator coil and generates a small amount of electricity. Now watch the meter. It's not going to move much at all. See that? It's just a regular generator. It's not doing much of anything. Now no matter how many times I drop the magnet through the pipe, the speed of the magnet passing the generator coil will always be the same. Now this is very important to remember. Now in this second demonstration, you will see free energy actually being created right before your very eyes. This pyramid houses the actual free energy receiving device. We'll now connect it to the generator coil. Now at the exact same speed, I'm going to drop the magnet through the PVC pipe. Be sure to keep your eye on the voltmeter as well. Ready? Go. Did you see that? That's free energy. With our free energy device now connected to the generator coil, we are now getting 5 to 10 times more power output. This can be applied to the fuelless engine, the SP500 generator, or whatever. It's awesome. Let's try that again. Let me get over here. Okay. Awesome. Isn't that neat? Try it one more time. It's moving at the exact same speed as the first demonstration. See? So if it was moving any faster, yes, it would generate more electricity, but it's not. It's moving both demonstrations are at the exact same speed.
So you see, Sandra, it is possible.
It is possible, even for me.
Yes,
If
you
I
can
can
do
do
it.
it, anybody can do it.
Can you do it?
You know what? I think I can. I think I need a little bit of help from a MacGyver friend, but I think I could do it.
Do you know what an Allen wrench is?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Does that mean I pass?
So far,
Is that the thing that they have at IKEA? That's the same things you
they
use for the
usually
IKEA?
give you a cheap, free Allen wrench at IKEA.
But it's an Allen wrench.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
I put the things together for
Do ya?
IKEA, just so you know.
Well, it's good
I do
because
an
they
awesome
give you
job.
the tools. You don't need to go and get a toolkit.
Yes.
Do you have
And
a-
that's going off the grid is basically using all the tools you need. So it's actually a really good analogy.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's like your own IKEA box
Yes.
of furniture.
Okay. Let's get busy with our first guest of the day. We've got Happy here. Happy, welcome to the show.
He has infected me with happiness.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's really great to have you here.
Hello,
and
Happy.
in fact, it's your birthday, right? Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. 77. Happy birthday to you.
You're happy. There you go.
Yay,
Happy birthday.
Happy.
And,
Thank you.
and it's your birthday, just like it's Sandra's dad's birthday.
I know. I want to say happy birthday, Peter.
Thank you. And he's sharing that cupcake in spirit with you.
Oh, wonderful.
He can't eat it. He gained too much weight, but
Okay,
he's
you're gonna
sharing
make a
it in
wish,
spirit.
Happy?
I know my wish already.
Don't tell us.
I
Yay.
won't. Thank you.
I love the pink color icing.
Yeah, and it's good. I had some.
It
Just
reminds
because I
me
got
of,
it on my finger, what am I going to do? I had to lick it off. Happy.
It's
Yeah,
better
he-
than
and
your
he-
face.
Now, Happy, so anyway, happy birthday. Great to have you on the show, and welcome. And you got a book here called Pardoned. There it is. And we don't know anything about you. In fact, as I mentioned to you earlier today, Happy, I thought I didn't know you were a male until you came in the studio today. So
Isn't that interesting?
we need to know your story.
That's why I changed my name from Happiness to Happy.
Well, because happiness is the male version of happy.
That's the male version.
Ah, okay. So this is the androgynous version.
Do you know what, Sandra? Could you do me a favor and read a book review?
Oh,
Well,
okay.
first I want to say that I wrote 8 books, and this is my 8th book.
8th book?
Yeah.
This is your 8th?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. That's a
And-
lot of books.
I started at 65 years old. I wrote my first book. It was called 2000 Adventures. I wrote it in April 4th, 2000. And it went on to be a Canadian bestseller.
Good for you.
And I'm
Now,
dyslexic.
you're
and colorblind.
dyslexic. Wow.
Two
Isn't
or
that a
three.
miracle?
Real bad.
So you wrote 8 books in 12 years?
Yep.
Wow, that's really prolific.
Look at what happened.
You wore out a thumb?
Oh boy.
I used to suck my thumb on a little boy and fell off.
You know,
Wow.
they have a device now that'll actually cure that.
So how are we going to get started? Sandra knows a little bit.
tell us. I don't know anything. In fact, I don't know anything.
Sandra, would you read this little book review?
I will read the book review. Okay, so it says, I've had the pleasure of working with Happy on past book projects and am continue to be blown away by his stories of pain and misadventures. His most recent book, Pardoned, is a continuation of his past works with new experiences and revelations. It's an eye-opening account of his life, his troubles, and how, with the help of his faith, he was able to overcome his demons. This book is heart-wrenching and at the same time heartwarming. It will bring tears of pain and, I assure you, tears of joy. I hope you enjoy this book as much as I and the many, many people who I know that read it have. That's a wonderful endorsement.
That's
Wow.
the best book review I have.
Wow.
Now, Happy, I'm going to just ask you, because the book is called Pardoned, which, suggests a lot of stuff. And it says here, at age 27, old things pass away and all things would become new. And is this a picture of you on the
That's
cover?
me at age 27.
At age 27.
Yeah.
And so is this, I suspect this is somehow rooted in your own life. And can you tell us?
That's when I got pardoned. But let's see, how can I start? This is a fantastic story. I'm glad I got the 2 hours. I'm just kidding. I'm glad I have quite a time. I want to tell you, pardon is not only being released from Stony Mountain, from a maximum security federal penitentiary. It's pardon of many, many things. Of an alcoholic father used to smash me in the face as a little child, tell me I murdered his wife. My mother died 2 hours after I was born.
So it's a lot of tragedy.
Oh,
So is this book a motivator, a positive uplifter?
it's an autobiography written by me.
Okay.
A 77-year-old dyslexic man. I started writing at age 65, and I had an editor that understood dyslexic men, so she made that book into a wonderful bestseller.
Wow. So she helped you make that
Yeah.
book into. Wow. That's.
But the last 3 books I wrote myself, unedited.
Wow.
This one's
So-
unedited?
No, it's unedited. I designed the cover, and the front and back.
So,
and
okay.
So are you? Go ahead. Sorry. Go
well,
ahead.
I just want to. So did you go to a maximum security facility?
When
you were 27?
That.
Okay.
Here's where I would like to start. First, I'd like to start when I was 17 years old. When I was 17, I had a horrific car accident. I was unconscious 9 days, all my body broken, and I laid on a fracture board for several months. No hope for me to live at all. But then, when I was 19, on April 4th, 1954, I was 19 years old. You know how I celebrated my birthday? In a nut house, in a mental institution for the insane.
How old were you?
19 years old.
And which facility? Whereabouts?
It was the St. Thomas Mental Hospital, just outside London.
Okay.
I went to my doctor and I told him I didn't want to live anymore. I hated living, hated myself. And the doctor said, why do you want to die? And I said, my mother died 2 hours after I was born. I was born 2 months premature. I weighed 2 pounds. But my father used to smash me in the face as a little child and tell me I murdered his wife. So I thought I murdered my mother till I was 27.
Right.
Wow.
So that's why I wound up in a mental hospital.
So you held that for 19 years.
I held that for more till I was 55.
Okay.
I released part of it when I was 27, but I went to a drug addiction for drug addicts at age 55 and grieved for the first time in my life.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, this is a liquid lunch here today,
Right.
and I get a candle and a cupcake, but no liquid lunch, just my bottle of water.
That's liquid.
I have 50 years clean and sober
Good for you.
out of the last 54.
That's why we didn't bring you the
Yeah.
hard stuff.
But how are we going to start? There's
Well,
so
Well, we've already started happy.
Yeah, we've all and you know what was the turning point for you? Like you're obviously not. You've
I know
obviously
how to
come
go
through
back.
that.
I know how to go back better than that. See, here's what happened. I was mentally ill. I failed grade 1. I failed grade 6. I quit school at 14 years old. And since 14 years old, I've traveled over 1 million kilometers in my lifetime. I just ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. And then
What were you running from?
from my past.
Okay.
So happy. I mean, I'm just sitting here meeting you for the first time today, and I could see the twinkle in your eye and the kind of smile on your face, and I'm curious. You talk about, the book is called Pardoned, when you were 27, and you just mentioned you released a lot of this when you were 27, and you released more when you were 55. What happened when you were 27 that caused you to be able to really start to live for the first time, maybe?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. You see that book, Pardon?
Yeah.
I told a guy today's my birthday at the YMCA where I go, and he said, I said, when I was 76, I could say 76 trombones led a big parade. But I said, no, I'm 77 today. I don't know what to say. What rhymes with 77?
Heaven.
That's what he told me. He says, 77, you're on your way to heaven.
There you go.
I'm gonna tell you this is my story, and I can share it from my heart. When I got out of Stony Mountain Penitentiary,
Where's that, Snowy Mountain?
30 miles from Winnipeg,
Okay.
when I got out of prison, but first of all, in prison, I wrote my first book, and I gave it to the warden. All he did was take out my webpage and my email address. He left everything in there, and it's a shocker too. But anyway, at age 27, I was walking down the street, minding my own business like any drug addict and alcoholic would do. And this young girl, 17 years old, she runs across the street and she says to me, she's bouncing and saying, how would you like to go to Youth for Christ tonight? And I said, get lost, kid. No, I said that under my breath. But I said, I'm not a teenager. I can't go there. But she said, well, you look like a teenager. Look at, there's a teenager. So anyway, I went to Youth for Christ. And for the first time in my life, and when I was in prison, I used to have in my card my name of Bad Bobby. That's what I was when I was a child growing up. And it said, sentenced 2 years, in religion, atheist. Actually, a pagan or an atheist, whatever you want. I was so proud of that. All the convicts just loved that. But this girl here, on December 8th, 1962, she said, how'd you like to go to Youth for Christ? I went there and I heard gospel music for the first time in my life. I never heard gospel music before. And you know what? That night, I made a decision that has affected my life for the last 49 years.
Wow.
I asked Jesus Christ in my heart, become a Christian, born again Christian. And I didn't know one thing about God's Word, never heard of sacred music before, never heard a verse of Scripture. But the last 49 years, that's the way I live.
Okay, happy.
Wow.
Now, where was that? Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Where the girl came?
No, when I got out of prison, I moved to Hamilton.
Okay,
I
so this
started
is in
life all
Hamilton.
over, yeah.
Okay, so just trying to get the picture. And what year was that?
December 8th, 1962.
62. Okay. So let me ask you, what was it? I mean, we hear about people getting converted or having that born again experience, and there's a lot of people that are Christians and go to church every Sunday, and they might not quite know what that means. I mean, what happened exactly? Tell us the story of that moment and how it changed, the way that you operated in the world.
I'm glad you said that, Hugh. When I became a Christian, lots of people say they're Christians. They say they believe in God and that's all. But I believe farther than that. I believe that God sent His Son into the world, that His Son was born of a virgin, that He died on the cross, that He was buried and He rose again, and that's the fundamentals of being a born-again Christian.
Do you believe we're in end times? Happy? Do you believe we're in end times?
Believe in the end times?
End times.
Yeah,
I
because
believe-
I saw a video. Apparently, no, it might sound like I'm joking, but somebody who was a very serious Christian, who did a lot of scholarly research, using the Bible as his principal source,
Yes.
has determined that that Christ is returning
Yeah.
March 22nd of next year.
2013?
December the 8th this year.
Is it? Have you heard that?
No, it's this year.
Is it?
December 8th.
What?
Oh, in December.
That's the 21st. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking
but
about
anyways,
21st?
is Jesus coming back?
He's coming back. You know what? I've been a Christian 49 years. In my heart, I've been waiting every single day. Maybe today. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I have a friend too who is a devout Christian, and there's no doubt in her mind that we are in end times.
But what does that mean? End times. She's talking about the end times,
Yes.
the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You know, the horrible pictures painted in the Revelation. What do you have to say about that, Happy?
You know what? I believe that Christians will escape the rapture. We'll be raptured and then we'll escape all that. I don't know. It could be wrong, but I hope I'm right.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you believe in the second coming?
For 49 years. I just become a Christian 49 years ago, and I heard that Jesus is coming again. Wow, what hope I had.
Now, Happy, okay. Some people say, I think you said it to me last week, Sandra, or somebody did anyway.
Blame me.
That's when they talk about the second coming of Christ. It's what it really is that it's the arrival of a Christ consciousness in every individual person. In other words, that we, as humans, we become, as Jesus said, you know, we can do those things too.
And more.
Right? He said that, cast the mountain into the sea. But so that this is the coming of the Christ consciousness in our own beings.
So it's about understanding the Jesus from within, our own.
Yeah.
So it's waking up to our own Christ consciousness.
Yeah,
Do you follow? Do you
Here's
resonate
what
with
happened
that?
to me. I just believe in faith. The acronym of faith is forsaking all, I take him. I just believe in faith that Jesus is coming, and he's been. And these are the end times right now that we're living in.
They are.
So I believe any time now.
But you know what, Hugh? To your point, okay. Happy, you said that for 49 years now you've been a Christian, and you've been happy pretty much those 49 years. So I really think you have found Jesus from within yourself. So maybe your second coming has already happened, and you have discovered the Jesus within you. I mean, how much happier can you get? Will seeing Jesus make you that much happier? Really?
Happy seems pretty happy.
Yeah.
It made me think of. I'm glad you said that because I had a second coming. I had 2 wives. They held me for hostage.
It's not exactly what I had in mind.
I know that.
Is that in the book, Happy?
Yeah, it's in the book.
Okay.
Both of my demises.
All right.
What-
Now,
What a journey.
I want to just get back to the book. So, the pardoned. It's your story. There's heartbreak. It's going to make people cry,
Cry.
laugh. But who is going to benefit? Like, are people going to? What are they going to really get out of reading this book?
I'm glad you said that, Hugh. This book is written for depressed, lonely, suicidal, mentally ill. I've been all those things and I've done them. I've given thousands of books away at my own cost to
help,
I get
as
emails
therapy.
from all over the world. I got an email from Cape Town, South Africa just recently, and the girl's named Sharon. I can say that because it don't matter. And she said, I started reading your book and my little 4-year-old son was crying, so I put him to bed. I went back, read the book. I finished the book. I rushed and my son woke up. I rushed in his bedroom, picked him up, danced all over the floor with him, told him how much I loved him.
Wow.
Wow.
You see, now that is something Jesus would do. So maybe you already have had your second coming. Maybe it's within you.
The
Maybe
only
you don't need to
second
wait for
coming-
anything.
The only second coming that I believe in my heart is that Jesus will come, and that's the second coming.
So an actual physical person. Okay.
So, but
Well, you're a
That's
shining example until that happens.
I am. That's why I wrote the book, to help people like me. And I also wrote that I'm a dyslexic person, and I wrote these last 3 books of my own to show
Wow.
dyslexic people can go far, far beyond their realm.
It's all in your mind, right? You can overcome it if you really put your mind to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
Happy.
And you know what? I gotta say something about Sandra. I'm so glad that she came today. I watched her lots of times on the internet, and I feel so relaxed.
Isn't she great?
It worked out beautiful.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. What a wonderful, wonderful example you are.
And it's just kind of funny because it is Easter week, and we were talking about Jesus before. I didn't even know that this was the topic of your book, Happy.
Wow.
Is there anything
Yeah.
else you want to leave people with before we
Yeah,
move along?
if you think you can't do it, you can do it.
If you think you can't do it, read the book, because this is proof that you can, right?
Mm.
It's all about the attitude.
Now, Happy, where can people get their hands on the book if they want a copy?
Well, this is just an advanced copy. You brought out a good question, Hugh. Why I wrote this book, I've self-published my own book for the last 11 years. I'd like to have this book taken over by a royalty publisher and let them sell it. I'm 77 years old. I don't want to.
Have to be.
Don't you make more money this way?
I don't want to.
You don't have to split
I didn't
it?
make a cent. I made some money, but I give it all to my children.
But you know what? Your very first book was a bestseller in Canada, you said, right?
A Canadian bestseller.
That means it's 100 copies.
No.
Right, Happy?
3,000, 3,280 copies.
Okay. See,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
it has
saying.
to be
I'm just
specific.
saying because it's a Canadian bestseller. You know what that means, right? But no, that's awesome, Happy. No, but is there a website or something where people can
Yeah.
order this?
It's www.happyhappy.ca.
Wow, I didn't even know that website would be available. That's
You're lucky.
amazing. Yeah.
All right,
You need
Happy.
to get a license plate that says Happy Happy.
I got a license plate, but I had a happiness.
See, you can't have it too long.
I know.
License plate, you know.
That's true. It's true. Just one
All right,
Happy.
Happy. Great to have you on the show. Nice to meet you. All the best.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
And,
Happy birthday.
and
77. Look it up. It's a magic
we
number.
are gonna take a little
Master
break,
number.
and we're gonna come back with Joe the
Thank you, my
investor
dear.
and carry on here. And
And I'm known as the Happy Hugger.
let's watch the
Thank you, dear.
God
Where's my
Gene
finger?
just for fun. We'll watch that, and we'll come right back.
What a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, this fell off.
Individuals who are religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics, and this is the expression, RT-PCR, real-time PCR expression of the VMAT2 gene. Over here, we have individuals. So let me complete. So over here, we have individuals who are not particularly fundamentalists, not particularly religious, and you can see there's a much reduced expression of this particular gene, the VMAT2 gene. Another evidence that supports our hypothesis for the development of this approach. What you see
here is that by spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from donning on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior. So we have some very, very remarkable data in this next slide. Here we have two brain scans. These are fMRIs. These are two different individuals with different levels of expression of VMAT2. On top is an individual who's a religious fanatic, an individual, and we've repeated this numerous times, that has high levels of VMAT2. Now, this individual down here who had low levels of the VMAT2 gene, this individual would self-describe as not particularly religious. In each case, these individuals were read a religious text. This individual lit up the right middle frontal gyrus, shown here, and that's a part of the brain that's associated with theory of mind. It's a part of the brain that has to do with intents and beliefs and desires. In marked contrast, here's an individual who would not particularly self-describe as religious, and when they're read a religious text, what you see is that this part of the brain called the anterior insula lights up. This is a part of the brain that's associated with disgust or displeasure on hearing something.
So you're suggesting I take a CT scan with me when I'm evaluating people to determine whether I put a bullet in their head?
So the data that I'm presenting here supports the concept that we're proposing, and I think that we would not propose to do CT scans or fMRIs on individuals out in the hinterlands of Afghanistan. The virus would immunize against this VMAT2 gene, and that would have the effect that you see here, which is it's essentially to turn a fanatic into a normal person. And we think that will have major effects in the Middle East.
How would you suggest that this is going to be dispersed? Aerosol?
Well, so the present plan and the tests that we've done so far have used respiratory viruses, such as flu or rhinoviruses, and we believe that that's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses, and we're quite confident that this will be a very successful approach.
This is fascinating. What's the name of this proposal?
Yeah, so the name of this project is FunVax, which is the vaccine for religious fundamentalism.
And you have a proposal already?
The proposal has just been submitted, and I think that the data that I have shown you today would support the development of this project, and we think it has great promise.
And welcome back to Liquid Lunch. It's me and Sandra, and we're
Having a great time.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
We're
'Cause
really
we're black and white.
happy. And we're happy. I don't know. He's contagious because I feel like I'm on this happy
I gotta
high.
read. I'm going to read the book because
Yeah, I think so
sometimes,
too.
as you said, you get depressed and you don't know your way out of it.
Yeah,
And sometimes
yeah.
you might need something that's gonna make
Yeah, I
you
think
cry
so too.
and
It's a
make
great-
you realize how good you got it. But we're back here, and we got Joe the Investor joining us. Joe, always great to have you on the show.
Yes, thanks.
So what are we talking about today? Here we are. It's past March 22nd, the day everything was supposed to go crazy. We're almost in the middle of 2012, and we don't even have any financial crises. Everything's just going groovy, right, Joe? What's going on?
Or is it?
Well, I wouldn't say that. but-
Okay.
Well, it's quiet the last couple of weeks. What I want to talk about is the news, the signals I'm getting from the news,
Okay.
because they're a little bit. I'll give you a couple of examples. So, the U.S. unemployment rate,
Yeah.
they've been talking about that for months. And they said, well, it's 8%, it's better than it used to be. But people are saying it's not that good, and there's sort of conflicting interpretations. But the way the markets are reacting, it's
Yeah.
all positive. That there's a major recovery that's taking hold in the U.S.
Well,
And so I'm trying to highlight, they're saying this about the job number, but
yeah.
the underlying facts are that a lot of people have given up looking for work. A lot of students don't have work. There's a lot of issues still.
So that would skew the numbers then. Is that what you're saying? If
Well,
people have.
it's not in the numbers,
Okay.
and that's why people are.
No, okay. The unemployment rate we know is bogus. It's a bogus statistic because they take the people that have given up, that have no hope out of that equation, right?
So then
But-
it looks better.
So it looks good
looks
because these
better.
people aren't looking for work now. They're
Okay,
living on the
okay,
street, so
okay.
that's good news. Unemployment is down. But on the other hand, there are numbers like job creation numbers. In other words, how many jobs were created, for example. And if that's a large number, then we know that is good news, right? What are the actual job numbers for the U.S.? Because I did hear that there was some surprisingly
200,000.
strong job creation in the U.S. Is that accurate?
They did say that. Now inside that number, there's this story. Which jobs are they? And how long are they going to last?
Like, are they jobs, part-time jobs? Are they low-paying jobs? Are they
They're
jobs?
all put
Are
together.
they service jobs, manufacturing? What kinds
They're
of
all put
jobs are
together.
they? Okay, so that too is not a true number either. Then, is that right?
So, well, that's what I'm getting at is
Okay.
when people see these numbers and see these news releases, just step back from it and look at everything leading up to that situation and say, okay, what do I get out of it? So the unemployment rate is one number. The other one's the housing number. And they've been saying there's stability and there's recovery. But I looked into the housing number and it's the same thing. The first-time buyers are a third of the buyers. Another third are investors. Investors looking to flip or make money on a foreclosure.
Or Canadians who have not
most-
yet
and a lot of
suffered
them are-
from the bubble, right?
A lot of them are Canadians, a lot of them are Chinese,
Mhm.
a lot of them are European. But that's a lot of people that are not in the typical model of first-time buyer, get your house, continue on, get a bigger house, continue on. These are
True.
people trying to exploit.
Sure, but
So the numbers don't tell you that. You have to.
Let's just talk
Dig
about that
deeper.
for a little bit. First of all, a third of them are first-time buyers, so that's a good solid statistic. The other interesting thing is that there was a study done about what is the proper, for a good, solid economy, democratic country, what is the percentage of home ownership versus people who are renting, right? And I think it's around 65% in different countries, Canada, U.S.,
Home ownership?
65, 67% of people own their own homes.
Okay.
And and that's been a long-held statistic that's been fairly consistent over a long period of time. So maybe in the bubble, that percentage actually went up a little bit. Maybe it went up a little too much. And so investors coming in, even though it's going to reduce that number perhaps of home ownership, people who live in their own homes, reduce it a bit, maybe it's going to bring it back to a more natural number.
Okay, but you know what?
Although I
Okay,
tend to think everybody should live in their own home.
I gotta say that's a crock.
Okay.
Okay, and that whole home ownership thing is so overrated because, okay, yeah, you have a home. Is it paid off? Okay, let's find out how many are paid off. Otherwise, you're just a rent owner. You're just renting. Sure.
I know.
Sure, you're renting for 25 years.
Well, interesting you should say that, Sandra, but there is a big psychological advantage. Except this compound interest thing's
Okay,
gotta get out.
so I know Joe's here and we're talking about finance, but I just have to say, okay, in North America, the dream is to have the home, right, as a financial success. Other parts of the world, they think owning is crazy. They want to rent. They don't want that kind of attachment, that kind of 25-year commitment. Other parts of the world, they would rather take their money and do something else with it. So you're right about the psychological, but owning a home is not necessarily the way to go, is what I'm saying. Especially if you're owning it for 25 years. I mean, you owe it
Yes.
for 25 years, sorry.
Yes.
Okay?
There's pros and cons on both sides of those. But Joe,
Okay.
we're looking at these numbers. What does that tell us about the U.S. economy? I think that's what we're trying to find out, right?
Well, it tells me that we're not really sure what's happening. It's sort of a dual situation. They're giving you this recovery idea, but there's also another idea that says, well, we're kind of still where we were before. And we're not sure if it's going to really take off yet or not. So I guess I'm just saying to,
So don't believe everything you hear? Is that what you're saying?
well, look at both sides of whatever you see, whatever you hear, and see if it actually sticks.
So dig
Because sometimes
deeper.
it doesn't. And digging deeper is how you find out what that number is all about. And the US is the two I've seen, but there's other ones. The one I've noticed now is China. Up until now, China's been the engine of the world. They grow at 10% and everything's made there. And lately they're starting to slow down a little bit. And what I read recently was they had a manufacturing number that was positive, but right underneath they said, yeah, but this time of year it's always positive because it's March and the Chinese New Year started, and
okay.
so there was this qualifier, and they've never done that before.
Is
They
that the
always just
small
said-
print too, Joe? Is that like you have to really, really...
Well, no, it's in
Sorry.
the first paragraph.
Okay, okay.
But just the fact that they're saying this is a difference from China is going to rule the world forever and don't think about it. So now it's becoming, I'm not sure about China.
Being a
Is it
superpower.
going to slow down? Is it not? And I reflect, I look at the past in the States in the 90s and in the 80s. When there was a slowdown and the interest rates got reduced, the markets actually rallied because they look ahead and say, oh, the rates are going to go down. That's good. Everything's going to boom again. In China, that's where they are now. Where they're supposed to get ready to boom again. And yet there's this, they're focusing on the slowdown, and up to now they never have. So there's this shift that happens every so often in what they report,
Well,
how
the-
they report it.
Now, here's what I heard about the Chinese statistics, is that they're just made up. They don't really have, I heard from somebody that in China, they just make those numbers up. Somebody at the Ministry of whatever just comes up with those numbers. They don't have the really in-depth kind of analysis of what's really going on in the economy to be able to report reliable growth or whatever statistics you're looking for, that they're just making it up. So,
And if that's true, the problem is a lot bigger because everyone's been betting on 10% China for 5 years. And what if someone comes out today and says, oh yeah, we just made that up?
Well, why should we care about what's going on in China? Because 10% growth in, I mean, whatever grows in China means we're shrinking here, right? Unless you're an investor.
So that's why we would care, right? Because it does affect us.
Well, overall, that's probably true, but like for Canada, for example,
Yeah.
we make a lot of money from China
we
'cause-
make a lot of money from China.
because they're buying all our commodities.
Okay.
And they use those commodities to make the stuff and then send it back here. So we actually, we're tied more closely to China than the U.S. is.
You know, there's some, okay, Joe, any other things you want to, are there any other things?
Examples?
China, okay, so China's a thing, and again, we don't quite know what it means or whether we should believe the statistics. Is there any other economic stories that we should be paying attention to?
Well, the other one is Europe,
that was my
but Europe is
question.
more obvious. I mean, they've said Greece is in trouble. Now all of a sudden Greece is gone, but people are saying, well, it might come back, and Spain might come back. So
What happens if they're done? What does that mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
what happens if?
What does that mean? How does I mean?
What do you mean done?
There's still people that live there. What does that mean done?
Well, done as in the crisis is done.
Oh.
It's over. The crisis has been resolved
Oh.
or averted or whatever. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they've
The
come to some kind
attention
of
is
agreement.
taken off of Greece and has moved on to someone else.
You know, and there's other stuff that could happen, Joe. I think that nobody is really, other things that could totally pull the rug out from all this kind of day-to-day analysis. I mean, if there was a big war, that could be a problem, or
If
that's going
China
to change
calls in their
everything.
debt from the U.S., right?
They won't do that.
Okay.
It wouldn't be in their interest, I don't think.
Okay.
Joe might think otherwise, but, or even something like that video we showed earlier. If all of a sudden, everyone is is off the grid, not buying oil, they're going to have so much money for other stuff, right? And you know, then there's the whole issue of globalization, you know, because sometimes I think it's like
The one world government, you mean?
well, all I'm just saying is that there's been a long-term trend towards taking away trade barriers, right? And this has allowed global corporations to set up shop anywhere. You know, we can't protect, or we don't protect, our domestic industries here in Canada. The good news is that we get to buy cheap stuff from China. The bad news is there are no jobs. Right?
So it has to be cheap because we can't afford it otherwise.
That's the trade-off, right?
Okay.
That's the trade-off. And they're saying that this is, in balance, better in the long run for the global economy. Joe, is there going to be any, are we going to, do you think, see a rekindling of national trade barriers to protect domestic industry?
Yeah, I think we'll see that.
Yeah.
It's already, I've already seen it.
Where?
I've seen attempts.
We haven't seen it in Canada. Stephen Harper isn't talking about that. He just let those Americans close the Stelco plant in Hamilton.
Here, well, no, Canada's not an example of that. Australia's been doing some of that. The UK, South America. Well, South America's kind of interesting. They're opening and they're closing at the same time,
Yeah.
depending on
South
what you're
America's
looking
very
at.
interesting, yeah.
But
So-
and there's a lot of talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
which
in
before
your
there
opinion,
wasn't.
Joe, are we better off today than we were this time last year?
I think it's about the same.
Okay. Even though they would have us think we're better off. You know,
In terms of
unemployment is
house.
down and housing. That's the other thing. Real estate in Canada is going crazy, isn't it?
And okay, Canada's another point about the news. So, real estate in Canada is booming. I think everybody sees it. The condos are everywhere, etc. Underneath that, it looks like the government wants to slow it down, but they're not really. I mean, they're saying to people, save more money. That's one thing. Doing that will slow it down. And the other end of it is the mortgage rules. They keep changing them.
Tightening,
And they're tightening
it
them.
up a little bit.
And that,
Really?
by default, will slow it down.
Yeah.
Are they going to increase
However-
the interest rate too?
Well, that they're not going to do.
Nobody wants that.
Well, I'm not saying I want it. I'm just
No,
saying.
I'm just saying, Joe, please.
And they're not going to do because I think the interest rate now is becoming international. It's becoming global.
Oh.
in terms of what we do was affected by what the US does, Europe does, what everybody does. If we run out and raise our rate to 10% and no one else does, it'll distort everything very,
Okay.
very large. In the past, people didn't really think about it because we had our national barriers, our trade rules, but now everything's being open. If someone decides to deviate and everything's wide open, everyone will just leave and run to the low.
Right.
Or they'll all come into the high interest rate
That's
if they're
actually a
buying
really
the
good point.
bonds. And,
Right.
and that didn't happen 10 or 20 years ago. So I think now the government is saying, well, yeah, we could raise rates, that would do it, but there's all this side effect. So
Yeah.
instead of that, let's go in there another way through the back and change the
Wow.
rules.
Here's
That's
m-
interesting.
Yeah. My impression is in Canada that they really have, since 2008, they've done what they can to kind of take some of the pressure off the housing market, to slow it down a bit, right? Which is the right thing to do, because we don't want the same thing to happen. And they've made some changes, and yet, despite that, they have not been able to cool the market. And I sense that despite those judicious attempts, that the market is running away like crazy. And
Here's another factor in that.
yeah,
20 years ago, we bought the condos, the Canadians who lived here.
yeah.
Today, we're buying the condos, but a lot of them are bought by investors.
Offshore
And
investors.
and for them, they pay cash a lot of the time, and for them, it's cheap. A condo anywhere else in the world is much more expensive. Europe,
So
Asia.
what
This is a
Really?
bargain.
So-
So they'll
Really?
keep buying here because they can, and then they rent them out or they sell them.
or and it's just an asset
It's a
for
different
them.
market.
It's a safe, it's a safe haven
it's
if they ever
safe
want
as
to come
well.
to Canada. So this tells me too, as you're talking about interest rates have become internationalist or global, the real estate market too
Is becoming
is
global.
becoming global, so that maybe it isn't a bubble that's going to burst. But the stories I hear about bidding wars in Toronto this spring,
They're like they're going 100
even after the government is doing their very best to cool the market down, and yet it's Toronto. I mean, who wouldn't want to be here?
Well,
Seriously.
Absolutely. But I think another point, and I don't know if it's even valid, but to me makes a lot of sense, is Toronto, Canada has still a lot of space where we're building. We haven't saturated our space, so we can build more houses, which means we can sell more houses, which means more people can buy.
And live here.
Exactly. Yes, it's outside of the GTA, but we still have like Milton and Orange, all these places
We
that
have-
we still have lots of space to grow,
Yeah, we still have some arable land that we haven't paved over yet.
and some wildlife that we haven't all killed yet
Yeah.
and sent away.
When are
you
we
know?
going to kill all that wildlife? And
You know,
make
if
sure
you
we
have a
can't grow
coyote in your
anything,
backyard,
Joe?
it's because they have nowhere else to go. It's not because they want to be in your backyard.
you know what? Here's the solution. When those fuelless, free energy devices come out, you'll be able to build a fabulous greenhouse home up in the middle of northern Saskatchewan. Okay, you have all the
Sounds
free
good.
energy you need, grow all your food,
Yes.
bananas, everything, and we'll be able to have not just live like on the small strip of land near the border.
And then we can have all the animals can have their space. We can have our space. We can all cohabitate and
Exactly.
live together.
Do you want to cohabitate with animals, Joe? Okay, Joe. Is there any other points you want to make here today?
So I'll say one more thing about
Okay.
the Canadian, the government. So an assumption you got to remember about all the tightening and expanding, it's based on credit. The interest rate is based on credit. The higher it goes, the tougher to get a loan, the more
Okay.
expensive people pull out. But if you're an investor with cash, that doesn't bother you. If you're somebody who's a trillionaire and who's buying subdivisions at a time, that interest rate doesn't mean anything to you.
So
You're buying it.
So again, that skews the numbers once again.
So these efforts don't work on them.
Okay.
They'll only work on us. And so if you're slowing part of the engine down
Wow.
and not the other rest of
Wow.
the engine, it's going to keep going until something says to them, okay, this isn't worth it anymore, and then they all get out, just the way in the stock market they all get out. So it's a different game now than before.
very interesting.
And people looking
That
at
is
the
really-
trend are saying, oh yeah, we'll just make it hard to borrow and that'll be it. Well, that's assuming everybody borrows. And the workers borrow, but these investors, some of them borrow, some of them don't.
Well, it's interesting because when you're bidding on a house now, you're not just competing with another Canadian who wants to live in Toronto. You could be competing with somebody international. How do you compete with that? Because they don't have the same issues that you. So if you say, okay, we're going to sell this house conditionally, you know, if you're, it's a whole nother dynamic. Wow.
Well, Joe, it just goes to tell you that economics, what do they call it, the dismal science or whatever, but it's more of an art form. And you know, you have to approach it with new approach. That's why Keynes was so good back in the day, because he came in with a new approach when everybody else was looking at the old way. Now, Keynesianism may not work today, but something else will work today. But you have to take all these different changing factors into account. Economics is always a different game today than it was yesterday.
So Joe, come up with that new Keynesianism thing. Come up with the new approach.
The world is working on it.
Okay, Joe. So now we know you do a show here at that channel, and you've got a website. And do you want to tell people how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, the website, joetheinvestor.ca. I have a contact page, and it's got all my social media links. The show is the Cube Talk Show, and it's under In the Media. There's a tab called In the Media, and when you hover over it, you'll see the
Cube as in QB, right?
QB, that's right.
Okay, Joe, always a pleasure to have these conversations.
Thank you. That was really enlightening. Very, very interesting.
Oh, good.
All right.
Okay.
So let's take a little quick break. Let's see now. We are going to, I don't know, we got this North American Union thing. Now that's going to solve a few problems, right? If we could just join together with the U.S. and Mexico, we'd all be a lot better off.
Yes.
So let's watch this little video, and we're going to come back with Kate Ashley Mullin right after this.
The Beyond the Border Initiative and the coming North American Union. The Beyond the Border Initiative is a bilateral meeting between the United States and Canada. No mainstream media attention has been given to it. The initiative is actually a collection of 29 agreements between the United States and Canada, focusing on perimeter security, border control, and law enforcement. The implementation of these new laws are another step in the erosion of national sovereignty, the formation of the North American Union, and world government. The two countries are embracing a screened once, accepted twice policy, by which goods and people traveling across the border, once accepted into one nation, would be able to travel unhindered into the other, allowing seamless cross-border travel. This plan will move security points to the edge of the continent and to the entry points from overseas. To compensate for the loss of the security at the border in the middle of the continent, the two countries will move and expand security to inspection points where shipments and people arrive from overseas. This, in effect, is the end of the U.S. and Canadian borders and the merging of our two countries. December of 2011, President Obama announced the Beyond the Border, a shared vision for perimeter security and economic competitiveness. March 12, 2012 was the 12th meeting between the two nations, and the results will transform the northern border as we know it. The initiative is one of the final steps in eroding the sovereignty of the United States and Canada, allowing for the formation of the North American Union. Much like the formation of the failed European Economic Union, which was formed through trade treaties and carefully planned integration by steps and not by popular support nor the democratic process. Early March 2012, the U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder and Secretary of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano met with Justice Minister Rob Nicholson and Public Safety Minister Vic Tays as part of the 12th Cross-Border Crime Forum. On the agenda were the following: transnational crime issues, counter-terrorism, smuggling, economic crime, emerging cross-border threats. Both nations signed a memorandum of understanding on the dissemination of exchange information to combat human smuggling and trafficking. The stated purpose of the meetings was to advance U.S. and Canadian cooperation in intelligence, law enforcement, and criminal justice, while in fact, it is the complete integration of border control, customs, and law enforcement between Canada and the United States, allowing for further integration of economies and government entities in the future. Reading the stated goals of the initiative, it is clearly a blueprint for the integration of both nations. Just a short list of the stated goals were as follow: addressing threats early, developing a common approach to assessing threats and identifying those who pose a risk, on the principle that a threat to either country represents a threat to both, enhance our shared understanding of the threat environment through joint integrated threat assessments, improving our intelligence and national security information sharing, share information and intelligence in support of law enforcement and national security, establish a common approach to screening travelers, share relevant information to improve immigration and border determinations, establish and verify the identities of travelers, and conduct screening at the earliest possible opportunity, establish and coordinate entry and exit information systems, including a system which permits sharing information so that a record of a land entry into one country can be utilized to establish an exit record from the other, invest in improving shared border infrastructure and technology, coordinate border infrastructure investment and upgrade physical infrastructure at key border crossings, facilitate secure passage and expedite processing through implementing radio frequency identification technology at appropriate crossings, deepen cooperative investigation and prosecution efforts to identify and stop serious offenders and violent criminals, cooperate on national security and transnational criminal investigations, establish national plans and capabilities for emergency management with a focus on chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and explosive events, enhance U.S.-Canadian long-term partnership, establish a beyond-the-border executive steering committee to oversee the successful implementation of the action plan, enhance domain awareness in the air, land, and maritime environments, cooperate to counter violent extremism in our two countries, pushing out the border, stopping threats before they arrive, either in Canada or the United States, mutually recognize passenger baggage screening as new technology is deployed and implemented, improvement and upgrading of their recording and sharing of biometric data, establish a common approach to perimeter screening to promote security and border efficiency, develop a joint statement of joint Canada-United States privacy principles to inform and guide information and intelligence, sharing under the Beyond Border Action Plan, integrated cargo security strategy. On top of this, by June 30th, 2012, both countries agreed to develop a common set of required data elements for all modes of transportation for advanced security screening of cargo, including the targeted populations for collections, timing for collections, and what data elements are needed as a common set of elements for collection. When this is all examined together, it is clearly the removal of national borders and the merging of Canada and the U.S. infrastructure for the unification of North America. The goals go on and on.
It's me, Hugh Riley, and we got Sandra Cusack is over here.
With your slick voice. Trying to hide the cold.
That's right. I'm not even thinking about the cold today.
Good.
Because I've been so busy since I got here this morning. We are joined here by Kate Ashley Mullin here, and
Hello, Kate.
Kate.
Hello.
And what a fabulous name for somebody who's a creative entrepreneur who works in the fashion world.
Thank you.
And all that stuff. And you have the same middle name as I do, which is weird.
I didn't know Ashley was a male name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind.
What?
Right?
That's
Gone
right,
with the
Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Yeah, my grandfather was named Ashley.
Wow. Is it spelled the same way? No.
Yeah, exactly. Is it L-E-Y?
Mine's spelled like that, yeah.
So is mine.
There's lots of ways to do it.
Wow. I didn't know you could.
My
Interesting.
sister's middle name is A as well, so my initials are Cam and hers are Jam. It's cute.
Cam Jam. Too bad you guys didn't have a business
I
together.
was gonna say,
maybe
you
some
know.
sort of a collective.
The doctor, going to be a doctor. She's younger than I am.
She's going to be a doctor?
Yeah.
Okay,
Are
so
you happy
she's,
about that?
Yeah, I need to go see her probably and just be like, vitamins.
So she's the more intellectual and you're the more creative.
I think so. I think that she's creative as well, though. My
And
dad's
you're-
really creative, so
Really?
yeah. And my mom was really good with numbers, so it just kind of, I don't know.
So do you have an intellectual side too?
Yep. I write a lot of proposals and do a lot of deals, I guess.
What do you mean?
I book a lot of things, so I think I have a strong mind.
Okay, yeah, you have to
One
be
would
really
hope.
organized and analytical to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough job.
Yeah, I want someone else to do it. I want to just like oversee and then someone else do the books.
You'd prefer to stay
Yeah.
with the creative?
Yeah.
That's why accountants get paid. That's why you pay them.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm
A good-
in search of a new accountant, though. so
I
it's
have
like-
somebody for you. I seriously have a really good
And are they
guy.
reasonably
No one would want to
priced?
see my account.
Don't worry about it. He's seen the worst. This guy, and he can make it. He turn it into magic.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that after the interview. So now you're embarking on as a creative entrepreneur, doing all kinds of stuff, working with music, art, fashion, and now. Do you have a crystal vision of what you're trying to accomplish in this life? Like, are you on a mission of some sort?
I have a crystal ball with a tree in it that one of my mentors gave to me, and I just kind of like look at it sometimes, like, I don't know. I just don't know.
You got to look at it a certain way. You sort of have to cross your eyes, right? And look at it sort of, and not look at it at the same time.
Yeah.
Is
No,
it, and then it steps out like a virtual reality thing, like
Very
a
orbital.
hologram?
It's like you got to turn it upside down and shake it.
I do that too.
Does stuff fall out?
Don't pull out that little plug from under the bottom.
No, it doesn't have a plug.
That would be dangerous. It's an off-the-grid kind.
Okay.
Okay.
So seriously, no. Like, are you on a? You know how some people are on, like, they just know what they're here on this earth to do, and they're just like on a beeline to get it done. And not everybody's like that, and I'm not saying that you need to be like that, but what is it that you really want to accomplish over the next few years?
Well, supporting, I guess I have to start really supporting myself as an adult. So really getting myself organized in that way, and that I can support other artists or other people, all my friends who are really talented too. And yeah, sleep more.
Sleep more.
Probably get a car. I have lots of bags all the time.
If you lived in Atlanta, I saw this commercial on TV last night. They have this, like, if you live in Atlanta, you can get a car.
Atlanta?
Atlanta.
What do you mean? Why can you get a car?
I'm just saying, it'd probably be easier to get a car in Atlanta. I'm not sure the car is the answer.
I don't even know. Maybe just a driver or something. has to
Driver.
change.
Wouldn't that be nice to be chauffeured around, from fabulous event to fabulous event? That's what I want too.
This happened before. Certain people you roll with, they have like really nice cars.
I know. Find somebody who's got a nice car that's having trouble paying his insurance, and shoot him a few bucks and show up at the fancy events
Or
in
a
the
few
back
beers, or a few beers.
seat. You can turn some of that beer into money.
Yep. I'm single, so currently also just like taking a break from all those powerful men and women.
What powerful men and women? Your boyfriends?
The exes.
The exes.
The what?
The
Oh,
exes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you could do a creative project on that.
I'm thinking
Instead of
about
like the Stepford Wives, we could call them Kate Ashley's boys, guys. There we go, Kate Ashley's guys.
I think that's also why I like to listen to a lot of different music, because a lot of it is I'm really into the Black Album right now, Jay-Z.
The who?
The Black Album,
By who?
Jay-Z.
Really?
Anyway, some of the music I'm listening to right now is like pretty strong. So it's
Like, what do
good.
you mean strong?
Well, I think just for girls and probably guys too, but like depending on the message, the different artists, they all say something different.
Yeah.
So you're looking for the message more than anything?
I think it's always about the
Yeah.
message. So
Yeah. So you like the positive messages? Or, yeah. Uplifting.
yeah, our previous company that we did, it was very there was a lot of dark, and I'm white, but one of my partners was black, and it's just all of it was based around black and white and color or gender fantasia almost.
Wow,
It was
okay.
very and heavy into the 90s. Even the fashion that we all wore was very dark. And then so when I'm rebranding, I'm going to go dreamy, colorful, positive.
Well, you're certainly colorful today. The scarf is beautiful.
Thank you.
Lots of spring colors.
This is the designer I work with. A lot of the clients, some of my clients, we always worked, and I will continue to work season to season and designer to designer, because everything changes a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of the clients are coming with me, so I'll continue to work with them.
So what are you doing right now?
Hustling.
Hustling for a
On behalf of your
job?
clients, right?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
what does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
It just means I'm always busy and I don't sleep a lot, but it's all, you know, at the end of it, it'll come together.
But what are you
With-
hustling
well,
for?
I
What
mean,
is
it's just like a lot of my job is like product placement and publicist. I started as a publicist, so I would just write and get it into magazines and like put it everywhere. And then I've took on more roles because now I'm managing collections out of my basement, like all these rolling racks full of all these crazy clothes, which is fun. But yeah, it's basically my house is like a showroom kind of
for fashion?
Wow.
for designers. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, do you prefer to work with the fashion designers, or do you want to get more into the music world or the art world, or what do you think?
I'm not sure. I don't know yet. I think that like ideally I want to maybe someday do a book or do a magazine. I don't know which way it'll go.
Do you okay, now this is a big question, but I'm not even sure how to phrase it. But it's like, and I'm just going to say it,
Okay.
is there too much art in the world? And the reason I ask
No.
that is, okay, great answer, and we're going to find out why in a minute. Let me just clarify the question for a second. When I was younger, we had a much more industrialized economy. You could get a high-paying job working in a factory.
Right.
Now, people don't want to do that work, right? People want the money. They don't want to necessarily do that kind of work. A lot of people are going into the arts, probably more than ever. A lot of people are following their heart, getting into the arts. But is the money going to be there for them? And how are we going to do that? That's the way it should be. But we still need all the stuff we need. We need our ditches dug. We need people to do the hard work. Are we going to get to the point where everybody could follow their heart and be an artist?
I think so, because I mean, I've always had a lot of jobs, and I used to be an artist agent, and then I was a designer coordinator at the Fashion Design Council of Canada, and then but I was always doing like our little projects on the side, but then like that was obviously steady paychecks. But yeah, I've been considering going corporate, but I think that as long as you can support yourself with whatever you do, you can always do something on the side, because a lot of my friends who are in corporate office jobs like hate it.
Yeah.
But they all are doing art on the side. So
But see,
it's kinda
that's a
like their
good
outlet,
situation
yes.
It's the
because you got
balance,
the
right?
paycheck coming in,
Yeah, the balance. That's what it
and
is.
and you
I
know,
might go corporate. I don't know.
and some of the best people great artists I know, they're postmen. You know, they walk around delivering mail for
You
like a few
know-
hours a day and then
Yeah.
do their art.
Okay, so to that point, I think a lot of people at one time, like you said, went into the big paying job. They wanted to be artists. It's not that people want to be artists now and they didn't want to be artists then. It's just they sacrificed their desire to do what they should do, kind of thing. And I think people are fed up with that, and I think the newer generations are saying no.
No.
So okay, yes, we need those ditches dug, but do we need everything happening as fast and as much? What if people worked a 3-day week and got to do arts for a 3-day week?
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, sign me up. I would do it.
Yeah,
I
you know
would
what?
follow.
I was thinking about that just over the weekend, as a matter of fact, that the Bank of Canada, which should adopt a policy of full employment, right?
Yep.
And if that means that people are working less hours, but everybody has a job, and whatever it is, so we
yeah.
got more people, less jobs, then you work less.
Yeah.
But you
so-
still
so
get a
what?
steady paycheck, and then you can do your art, and that's going to grow the economy.
Exactly.
Isn't it different in Quebec? Like I know the government has so much more funding there, and it's not like that here.
You mean for
Well, the
artists?
government-
Oh, it's a whole nother world.
But
in
that's, I
Quebec.
mean, there's pros and cons to that too, though,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
But I mean, it's true though, because you look, there are places that are considered, not as developed as North America, and they've moved here, and they've said, because they want to have the North American life, they would go back if they could. They've made a mistake. They said, the standard of living is higher here, but the quality of life is higher there.
Yeah.
yeah. I had a
People are happier. I love Montreal. People are so happy.
in Montreal?
Well, it's definitely a different dynamic there, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's still, a 9 to 5, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Well, if you're lucky, if you got a job in Montreal, you are
Yeah.
living the life.
Well, you know, maybe
Yeah.
maybe the way things are going, though, Hugh. Maybe the way things are going is to force us to move away from working, 50-hour work week, 50 hours
Maybe,
a week.
but I don't
so that,
know.
and to lower our standard of living, but increase our quality.
Well, we're going to have to seize control of the powers that be.
I
Kate.
think Montreal's doing some good things right now with the makeup and hair agencies, and then also the artist agencies have started to partner with Toronto agencies.
Uh-huh.
And there's a Montreal Fashion Week there. So
There's a Montreal Fashion Week. and there's-
Montreal's
Montreal Fashion
fabulous. Montreal's fabulous city.
I don't know.
And
I
you
love
don't
it. I
have to
love
speak
French.
French.
Speaking.
Oh, can you speak French?
You do?
Yes.
And you can speak
Oh, yeah.
French? Oh, see
Where
that?
did you learn French?
In school.
Oh, yeah. And you learned it enough to actually speak?
Well, I've had to. I mean, I don't like speaking it. I like writing it, but I would get embarrassed to speak it. But because it's different wherever you are, and people can interpret
Make
it
fun
and
of you
whatever.
when you walk to...
Well,
yeah.
Quebec is very different. When I was in Paris, it was so beautiful, but the language in Quebec, I like it too. But I just yeah. But if in fashion, if you can speak French and write it, because a lot of the things you have to read and write are in French, then it's good.
So, do you know anything about being? Do you know anything about indigo children?
Indigo no.
Okay, I think you're one.
What's an indigo?
You should look that up. Hugh, do you know what that is?
Yes,
Okay, he should look that up.
we are one.
No, it's
The logo.
he's.
The logo.
Oh my God.
We are one.
It was a triangle, but I might do a diamond the
It
next
was?
one. It was a triangle.
Yeah,
Look
diamond.
it
There
up.
are three of us.
Actually, you
Look.
know what?
You are indigo. I'm kidding.
Maybe she's a
I'm not-
crystal. The crystals
No,
are one level above
I have to
indigo.
write this down. What is it called? Can I write it down?
Indigo,
Yeah,
yeah.
indigo. Look up
Text it.
indigo and crystal.
Indigo and
I think you're
crystal.
indigo, but you could be crystal. But I think you're indigo. Look them
I don't know
both
the
up.
difference. I don't know the difference.
I think it's just a generational thing.
Anyway, don't let it go to your head.
I don't let anything go to my head. I just laugh
And
it off.
that's a trait of an indigo. It's like,
Yeah,
there's
I know.
nothing you can tell them they don't already know.
Okay, Kate.
They're so smart.
Okay.
Listen, anything else you want to leave us with today? Kate Ashley Mullin, it's been great to have you on, and we're going to have you back when you got your new thing really going on, and but is there anything else you want to leave us with today, or some contact information?
Merci beaucoup, and I
Merci
think I left
beaucoup.
some nice stuff, information over there.
Okay,
Paper.
fantastic. But here's the thing. People that are watching this right now, maybe they're resonating with you, maybe they're thinking, I'm in
this
the
is
fashion. I'm in.
This is live?
Yeah,
This is
but
live.
it's going to be
Oh,
recorded too.
okay.
So, but people who are
This
maybe
is so live, you
resonating
didn't
with
even know
you,
this was live.
maybe they want to hire you to be a publicist or do some consulting or creative for you.
Oh, okay. So
You know?
you can reach me at kateashleymullin@gmail.com.
Mullen.
IN.
IN. Oh, I can't.
Is it? Mullin?
Yep.
Okay,
Everyone always does EN.
I know. Because I had a teacher in high school named Mr. Mullen with an E-I.
And he had a mullet.
There are lots of Mullins with I.
And he had a mullet.
He didn't have a mullet. Okay, I had a mullet. Okay,
So
All
you're
right.
related.
Kate Ashley Mullen.
Not
Thank
mullet.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Okay.
doing
Thank
this.
you.
Kate Ashley
Indigo,
Mullen
indigo.
at gmail.com. Okay, let's take a little break, come back with Michel Emond. We're going to change the world right after this. And
Oh,
we're
this
gonna
is
watch,
going to be an amazing conversation.
Gee, I don't know what we're going to do. Let's watch that fuelless thing again. The fuelless,
Sounds good.
We're going to eat off the grid, everybody.
Off the grid.
And
Off
come back
the
with
grid.
Michel Emond as Liquid Lunch continues. We'll be right back.
Can an electric motor and generator be made into a free energy device to run your car and your home? The answer is yes. Now this is our new free energy demonstration kit. It clearly demonstrates how free energy is being collected by our fuelless engine motor. This is not a trick of any kind. There are no hidden wires, and there are no hidden power sources. As you can see, if this was a power source, the needle would be moving. Nothing in it. Now what you're about to witness is a free energy being created right before your very eyes. But I'd like to first demonstrate the output without the free energy device connected. So I'm going to disconnect that right now. And get my neodymium magnet. You can see it is a magnet. Iron. Now, as the magnet falls through the PVC pipe, it passes the generator coil and generates a small amount of electricity. Now watch the meter. not going to move much at all. See that? It's just a regular generator. It's not doing much of anything. Now, no matter how many times I drop the magnet through the pipe, the speed of the magnet passing the generator coil will always be the same. Now, this is very important to remember. Now, in this second demonstration, you will see free energy actually being created right before your very eyes. This pyramid houses the actual free energy receiving device. We'll now connect it to the generator coil. Now, at the exact same speed, I'm going to drop the magnet through the PVC pipe. Be sure to keep your eye on the voltmeter as well. Ready? Go. Did you see that? That's free energy. With our free energy device now connected to the generator coil, we are now getting 5 to 10 times more power output. This can be applied to the fuelless engine, the SP500 generator, or whatever. It's awesome. Let's try that again. Let me get over here. Okay. Awesome. Isn't that neat? Try it one more time. It's moving at the exact same speed as the first demonstration. See? So if it was moving any faster, yes, it would generate more electricity, but it's not. It's moving both demonstrations are at the exact same speed.
And we're back here on Liquid Lunch, and we are joined by Michel Emond. And Michel, great to have you on the show.
Thank you very
Hello
much.
again, Michel.
Hi.
Okay.
He's back.
Now we are talking about something really important.
Yes, we are.
And now what are we going to start with first? Please introduce this topic for us.
Okay, I'm going to introduce a way to eliminate the debt worldwide.
Eliminate the world global financial debt.
That's an
Wipe it right out.
amazing.
Which is going to solve all these financial crises that we were talking about earlier in the
And
show.
create millions of jobs at the same time.
Absolutely, which we need.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much to thatchannel.com because you guys will be showing some documents that's very important to me. Thank you very much. I have an update since the last time I was here. I'm working on a book right now. It's called 30th Century Solutions.
30th Century Solutions. We've got a graphic for this.
Yes.
That's actually your website too, right?
And my logo.
Right, 30th Century
All right,
Solutions.
so there
okay.
it is, and this is from your newspaper. But tell us about what this update is all about.
Okay, well, first of all, the book will be available June 1st. And I found a way how to eliminate all debts worldwide.
Okay.
And which will create millions of jobs at the same time. And perhaps even eliminate wars. And this is what people really want.
Okay.
Jobs and...
Well, sure. Once
eliminate-
everybody's happy and working, you tend to be less confrontational, right?
Yes.
So that alone would.
And there's only one way to stop wars and poverty. That is to put the World Bank out of business and other financial institutions like this, including the bondholders and the market. And we are going to repay them back in full, the actual full amount, and they are owed.
Okay.
This way, there will be no interest.
Right, so we can pay everybody off. We're not talking about just walking away from the debt. We're talking about paying all the people off. Can we just look at the next graphic, please, here? And okay, now.
Okay, so this is, I think, this picture, this graphic is a little bit about your plan for erasing the world debt.
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
They're
Okay, so
coming up.
this is a calendar.
And I'm going to propose a proposition, and we will have a worldwide vote on this proposal that I'm
Okay.
about to introduce right now.
Okay.
And first, let's start where the problem actually begins.
Okay.
The Canadian government borrowed $600 billion in long-term government bonds, and this is a lot of interest to repay, first of all.
And now, who is Canada paying the interest to? The World Bank?
No, this particular case will be the bondholders.
Okay.
Private bond.
Long-term
Okay.
government bonds.
Okay.
And sometimes they borrow from other
Okay.
individuals. And they do this because they say all countries are broke. So they say that we have no money and we have to borrow from other
Okay.
people.
And everybody's doing this. It's not just Canada.
All government seems to do this now.
Okay. Okay.
So what would happen if the world had no debt? Well, we'd have more money for cancer research, free tuition, poverty is eliminated, and this is the goal of this proposition that I'm going to
Okay.
do. And
Okay.
create millions of jobs at the same time.
Okay.
So let's say all countries owe $2 trillion. So
let's say all countries owe $2 trillion. Okay.
So we have to come up, there's 256 countries, so we have to try and come up with $512 trillion in one single month.
Okay. So that's 256 times 2 trillion. Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
now,
That's a lot of money.
well, the way I look at it, the World Bank mission to reduce poverty is in question.
Right.
The bondholders and investors, including the market, they are only interested in collecting the interest on the bonds anyways.
Right.
So what we have to, and the government depends on these organizations for money.
Right. Okay.
So what we have to do is we have to find our own solutions.
Right.
And we're going to start.
So you're saying this is a solution by the people for the people.
And we're going to let them decide.
Okay.
If I'm
By the
right.
vote. Okay.
If I'm right.
Okay.
And as it will work to all citizens, they will be able to get a certain amount of money to pay their own debts too.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
let's talk about that calendar.
Definitely come with the calendar right now. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Let's pull that calendar up again, the second image, just to have a look at this.
Yes.
And Michelle, maybe you can just, it looks like a 13-month calendar.
Yes. I like to call it Rules for a Debt-Free Society. In 2013 or 2014, we will have 13 months.
Okay.
The first 12 months will have 28 days. The 13th month will have 29 days.
Okay. So 12 times 28 plus 1 times 29 equals 365 days.
It does.
Okay.
Now, during the first term, payroll systems can be readjusted for 1 year, and same with payroll,
Okay.
just for that 1 year.
Okay.
And those 3 days will be eliminated to create that extra month.
Right. Okay.
And during the first 12 months of this particular month, visa, mortgages, rent will be paid their regular 12 times
Okay.
that year.
Okay.
So everybody's happy they got their money.
Business as usual.
Yes.
Okay.
And on the 13th month, what we're going to do next is we're going to keep all this revenue and we're going to deposit it in the certain world fund that all 256 countries will contribute every single day, business day, in the 13th month.
So the 13th month, it goes into what's called a world fund.
Yes.
Okay. That's a cool idea.
Okay. So this is how we're going to do it. On the 13th month, we're going to collect. We'll have a screen, a monitor like this, that
Okay.
every country can see as we progress along
Okay.
the second day of that month, and you will see this money add up
So
every
it's
single day.
transparency. That's very good. We have transparency.
Yes, and we'll have a monitor like this, and they can definitely look for themselves
Okay.
and see what's going on. And in this particular amount of money, no government is allowed to touch it.
Okay.
It doesn't belong to the
Okay.
government.
Okay. Okay.
So the next step is this. So I believe there's a lot more money in this.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about every government collects income tax. So all that money from income tax times 256 countries, I estimated between 20 to 30 trillion dollars.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now there's other sources of revenues that is available besides income tax. There's GST, there's tobacco, there's gas, there's alcohol, parking tickets, building permits, and the list goes on and on.
So-
and there's another 10 to 20 trillion dollars right there.
So in total, we're talking 30 to 50 trillion dollars. You think?
I figure
the
at
bond
this at this particular time, with everything I just noticed, we'll come up to between 30 to 40 trillion dollars at this particular
So
month.
on the 13th month, there will be 30 to 40 trillion dollars in this world fund.
By the end of the month,
Okay. Okay.
because we're going to keep whatever going to put this revenues in this particular World Fund. Okay, besides taxes, there are other sources of revenues.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about hydro now. Hydro is not all privatized, first of all.
Right.
And there's a lot of money in hydro that is being collected in one single month by all governments. If you look outside the building, every office pays hydro. And if you add it up, if you look at one building, there's 20 offices there, 20 floors, and you take a calculator, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But all of that rolls
already.
into that $30 to $50 trillion.
Yes, no,
okay,
that's
so
extra.
now
That's extra now.
it's on top. Okay.
Yes, this is on
so,
top.
So what do you think, Michel, will be the total amount collected in that 13th month?
Now, according to my estimate, and well, there's only one way to find out, first of all. And according to me, after that, we're about roughly around 60 to 70 trillion dollars.
Okay.
So let's say there's 256 countries, and they all owe 1.2 trillion.
Okay.
So right off the bat, we just eliminated 50 countries in one single month. In return, those 50 countries
that are now debt-free.
Yes, well, keep going the following year, and every month that year, at the end of every month of the following year, which would be 2014 or 2015, and every single day, those different countries will deposit 75% of all the revenues since they are debt-free.
Okay,
to
so
help other countries to get out of debt.
So the first 50 countries out of the 256 would now be debt-free at the end of 2013. So those 50 countries and the first month of 2014 will give 75% of their monthly revenue into the World Fund. Now, is 25% enough to sustain them?
So, well, let's say there's only one way to find out, first of all. And I think that government will make an effort to not do unnecessary spending.
Right.
And try to get everybody out of debt that same year. Since they are now debt-free, they got 200 countries to help.
Yes,
You know? And I'm
And then it's exponential too, right, Michel? Because then by the end of the first month, all those funds could now go into debt-free the next 50 countries and so on. So, okay, so if you do that, have you calculated how long it would actually take to be debt-free for every country?
Well, according to my calculations, I figure between the 6th or the 8th month of the following year.
2014.
Yes.
Okay.
So
even if you're wrong, even if your numbers are slightly off.
I was coming to
okay.
that too. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Well,
Go ahead.
even let's say I'm off by 100, let's say 50 trillion.
Yeah.
The point is this. We started something here that is not impossible, first of all.
Exactly.
The math does add up. And also...
But even if the math doesn't, because honestly, how can we know all this information? But even if the math doesn't, if the method does, then it's just a matter of tweaking it, right?
And especially if we have a monitor and people can see for themselves what's going on, there'll maybe even be donations and benefits to increase the amount, and we can probably come up with another 20 trillion there.
Michel, I have a question for you, because I think that's a good point. That if people could see that the money that they're putting in, that we are solving this problem, we are knocking the debt down.
We're trying to be part of the
national
solution.
debts, personal debts, global debt. We're knocking it down. We all know we need to do that. Do you think, though, that there are people that don't want to see that happen because that they are benefiting from the fact that we are all owing more and more money all the time to pay all this interest?
That would be the bondholders.
Yes,
That would be the bondholders.
The World Bank people.
And that would be them. They're not interested in getting the money back in full. They're only interested in the interest. So let's say it's very hard to come up with the interest on $1 trillion to begin with. They'll be in debt for another 200 years.
Forever and ever.
So we have to eliminate this problem now.
Yeah.
In which will create millions of jobs and also wipe out poverty.
Well, you know what? When you start out with a clean slate, when every single country starts out with a clean slate, God only knows what we can do. We can't possibly even.
Mankind, you need.
Yeah. I mean, the environment also now becomes more of a concern, right? Now we can work together towards the environment and
Clean all the
and
lakes.
homes for everybody, and food and shelter for everybody. So that creates a whole nother level of existence, I think.
Well, it'll be the first time since the banking system was invented that
Here's the other thing, question for you. Okay,
All countries are debt free.
is the World Bank going to be put out of business then if we do this?
Of course, they'll be put out of business because of Africa is like totally dependent on them.
Okay.
They need a clean start. That country just needs a clean start. They owe nobody nothing, and the World Bank is out of business just like that. We won't need a World Bank anymore.
Okay, and we're going to be talking about the World Bank.
Yes, coming up.
at the next time you're on the show.
I have a couple of things to say that right now, actually.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to get to these other graphics too. We want to show
Okay.
these. So let us know when we should show them and just mention
I
them,
definitely
okay?
want to start with the rules and the ballots.
That's
So-
number 3. We're going to look at this graphic.
Thank you.
And Michelle, if you could just talk about this and
Yeah. So we need some kind of rules that everybody's going to agree with. You know, and this proposal can be improved. And we're going to use this formula here to start the process.
Yeah.
so this will give people an opportunity to have some input into the process, right?
So again,
Exactly.
it's for the people, by the people, right?
And this is how we're going to do it. We need some
Okay.
kind of rules that everybody agrees with. All
Okay.
governments and
Okay.
every citizens
Okay.
and
Okay.
even the ones who don't agree with it, we're going to let the public decide if I'm right. We'll
Or
let
we
the-
tweak it accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
let the public decide.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
So which one is the next
The
document?
next graph.
Is the plan.
Okay, we'll definitely go with the plan for sure.
So this,
plan-
so this is,
The plan was what we just discussed, so
Yes,
that
but
was
there's
basically,
something I
yeah,
missed on there.
okay.
So now, according to this formula here, do we have the bottom of this? It's okay, we can kind of move it up in a few seconds.
yeah, but
No.
it's okay. Just
Yeah.
speak to it,
Yeah.
please, Michelle.
It talks a lot about what we did just discuss.
And also, we can move the document up if you want.
Can we?
Let's come in back. Michelle, just please tell us what this is all about.
Okay, so basically, this is how it is going to happen. You know, after what you said, after
Right.
the first 50 countries are debt free, they will
Yes.
to
So
the
it's
next
basically a
one.
written explanation of what we just talked about.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay,
That's for sure. That's exactly what it was.
okay. And the next one, I think, was, here's where we get onto the World Bank stuff. Are we ready to discuss that?
Okay. Well, first I have a few.
Okay.
Something to say. Do you have a question in particular at the moment that you want to ask? Is there something in particular?
No, I think we're good. I think it's really clearly. I think we've discussed, and I think it's hopefully gives people a really good idea as to the method. And again, it's not necessarily about the numbers being right. It's because it's about creating the formula and just plugging the numbers in.
Yes.
Right.
And
I think the
having-
idea is there.
And then yes, and I think we're having a screen that worldwide everybody can watch is.
Well, the transparency is really, really important, and everybody being allowed to vote is extremely important. Everybody has to be a part of this.
And basically, this is what my book is all about. And there's some
Okay.
other details in the book that I'm coming to right now.
Right.
And it has to do with the World Bank.
Right.
Right now, I definitely will go with the World Bank letter.
Okay, so this is number 5, just to show people what this is about. This is about the unfitness of the World Bank. Is that right, Michelle?
Well, as soon as the.
There it is.
There we go.
Now-
So,
No, that's not it.
yes,
Nope.
that is. That's it.
Is it?
That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
We'll start
That's
with
the
this
one.
one here, yes. There's 142 organizations that claim that the World Bank is unfit to manage this world fund here, climate fund.
It's a carbon project
The
fund.
Forest Carbon Fund
Forest
project.
Carbon Project.
Now-
Forest Carbon Project Fund.
Yes.
Yes.
So these 142 organizations claim that these funds are conflicting with other funds that they're supposed to have since that the World Bank is supposed to give them, but I guess
There's
that-
conflict of interest.
there's conflict of interest.
Right.
So I'll definitely start with, I'll continue with my last document, which will be the letter.
Okay. The last document.
This will be the letter from.
No, number
the-
6.
Yes.
Now, this letter, here we go.
Okay. Now, this letter here I received from the International Court clearly says that, and the decision to proceed will be reconsidered if new facts or evidence provides a reasonable basis to believe that a crime has been committed.
Okay, so
So I have until the end of 2012 to prove my case. And
let's just explain a little bit as to why you even have this letter. Okay.
At the beginning, there's 142 organizations that clearly says that
The world is-
Bank is
Incompetent.
Right, so a
or
few years
unfit.
ago, you sent a letter to the ICC, International Criminal Court,
About this forest carbon fund project.
and you wanted to sue them.
Well, one thing at a time.
Okay,
When you want to take somebody to court, first you have to subpoena them.
okay,
So as of right now, I do subpoena the World Bank. That's what I have to do. My
Okay.
next thing I have to do is subpoena the 142 organizations, and after that, on the next show, I will be subpoenaing the World Bank, the 18 judges at the World Bank.
Okay.
That's the first steps that you have to take.
Okay, okay.
And now that I have announced that, I covered
okay.
my tracks.
So this letter is basically saying you've subpoenaed them?
Well, it says right here, document 16 sub
Can we show the
A.
letter again?
Yeah.
Document 16 sub A in the ICC Charter, Chapter 15, Part C refers to crimes against peace.
Okay.
Now, there's 142 organizations that claims that there's hotel resorts going up, people are getting pushed out of the jungle, and they're building hotel resorts and all kinds of stuff. So if there's one death occurred because of this, I have a case. So at the moment, there are death records.
Okay, so would a death be considered somebody, let's say somebody's living in a shack, okay, and so now they're moved out of their shack and so they die of no shelter anymore. Is that considered a death
Well-
as a result of this initiative by the World Bank?
Thank you for asking. Well, what I have to do is one of the 142 organizations will have to appear and explain what I just told them.
Okay.
They will have to, I have to tell them to tell their side of the story.
Okay,
And they're the ones who are going to say what I just told you.
okay,
Me, I just started this. I didn't think I was going to get this far, first of all.
okay,
But now that I got this far and I got this letter, I figured I might as well go all the way.
right.
And at the same time, the World Bank and other individuals like this are involved in the world debt crisis
Right.
too.
Right.
So I found a way to eliminate all debts. We're going to put this to a worldwide vote, and at the same time, we're going to take the World Bank to the International Criminal Court, and as of now, any lawsuit that comes my way will be invalid until the 18 judges has reached a final decision on the first.
But the two aren't really related though, right? They are two separate things, Michel?
Well, there's all kinds of factors involved here. First of all, I want to eliminate the debt world.
Right, and you can do that with or without this World Bank lawsuit, correct?
Yes.
So it's not dependent on that. So we
That's
can go
right.
forward with the world debt right
Exactly.
now.
And thank you for asking, because
Okay.
that information is not in my book. Because I don't want my book to be banned, because I keep my court case out of the book.
Right, okay.
It's about
Yes.
eliminating the debt, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, okay.
So so I decided to keep going with this class action suit that I can go in details in the next show. And by the way, is there something in particular that you wanted to talk about that we talked about sometime a week ago? Or are you okay? Do you have any other questions?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, do you have any questions?
Well, Michel, I just want to make sure that you've tell the whole story today. Is there anything else you need to let us know right now? We're going to give people the contact information if they want to support you or help you or can contribute. Also, you got a magazine coming out, I know that, so let's make sure we give all the people
the other thing too is I know you're getting a lot of flack from people too, but
Yeah.
but you know the thing is it's a solution, you know, and unless people have a better
We need a
solution,
solution. We need a solution.
yeah. So you know, even if we end up not working on this solution, if this gets us thinking, coming up with another solution, then you've done your job.
That's it's good enough. I'll be happy if I did that.
Yeah. So the idea is to erase the world debt. Somebody is stepping up,
Yes.
and thank you for doing that.
And my website is 30tcs.com. And you know the documents, or you can freeze the documents to properly read them
Yes.
as you see it on the.
Yes, we have purposely put the documents up for a
Yep.
few seconds so that people, when they look at this in your community, Michel has a community that's watching this, so that when they see this in the archives, they can actually freeze
That's
it.
what I do. Press pause.
Press
read
pause,
the
and then
documentation.
you can see it's legitimate. All of it is legitimate.
And we're going to have you back in a few weeks, right, Michel?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh.
And what day would that be?
I think it's April 26th.
26th.
but,
April 26th, I think. And
Yeah. So, okay. So the website again, 30tcs.com. Okay, Michel.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I guess on April 26th. I'll have some other details that
And
now.
he'll give us an update
About the World Bank.
about the World Bank and
Lawsuit.
to see if anything else comes up on
And
anything
there,
else.
There will be some updates because I have some happening at the moment.
Okay,
Fabulous.
sounds
okay,
good.
Michelle.
Good
this is
luck,
great.
Michelle.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Good luck.
And
Thank you.
guys.
Okay. We're going to take a little break and come back with Allison Harvey talking about the tone experience.
Excellent.
Right after this, as Liquid Lunch continues.
For each American, it's about 20 tons. For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet. And somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to 0. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to 0. This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to 0. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to 0. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to 0. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. But there we see an increase of about 1.3. The second factor is the services we use. This encompasses everything: the food we eat, clothing, TV, heating. These are very good things. Getting rid of poverty means providing these services to almost everyone on the planet. And it's a great thing for this number to go up. In the rich world, perhaps the top 1 billion, we probably could cut back and use less. But every year, this number on average is going to go up. So this is a wish. It's a very concrete wish that we invent this technology. If you gave me only one wish for the next 50 years, I can pick who's president, I can pick a vaccine, which is something I love, or I could pick that this thing that's half the cost with no CO2 gets invented. This is the wish I would pick. This is the one with the greatest impact. If we don't get this wish, the division between the people who think short-term and long-term will be terrible, between the U.S. and China, between poor countries and rich, and most of all, the lives of those 2 billion will be far worse.
And we're back here on the show. We got Allison Harvey.
Another very happy individual.
Yeah, she's been here since 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yeah.
Are you having fun?
Yes, I am. I got to meet a few really cool people.
Yeah.
So it's always, I love to network, so. Good.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just networked with you last week.
Yes, we network, and I'm here today on your show, that channel, yes.
That's a miracle on its own.
Okay.
Lots of miracles.
Hey, well, whatever has to happen will happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got that.
All right, Allison. So what are we talking about today? I know you got a big conference coming up.
On April the 14th, it's called TONE, and it's the official Network Marketing Expo.
It's an acronym.
Yes.
The official Network Marketing Expo.
Okay, wait a second. Where's the M?
No, well, network marketing goes together.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Didn't know.
So it's a typo acronym.
Yes, well, it's a Allison Networking Diva acronym.
Then it works.
I know.
It works.
Are you going to change your last name to Diva?
You know what? My email has Diva on
I
it,
know.
and people
Already
do.
her middle
I
name.
know. I know.
I know.
It's already. So
She
the-
so is. But
Thank
you're
you.
one of the nicest divas I know.
Oh, thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
have to have a Diva convention in Toronto, though.
That's a fantastic idea. Let's come up with a
Let's come
great
up, yeah.
acronym. No, let's come up with
guys
something.
Something for Diva.
Can you work on that later?
Okay, sorry. Okay, we
Yeah.
need to talk about tone.
Okay, let's talk about tone. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about Tone.
All right, so this event is actually a signature event for multi-level marketing, and I'm sure you've heard about network marketing, multi-level direct marketing, and we're bringing together a number of different companies with amazing leaders that people can actually join for less than $99.
Wow.
You can start your own business for less than $99.
Wow.
Wow.
That's going to attract a lot of people.
Well, we would want to, because I mean, like the speakers before, I was listening to them and I could still hear the message. There are no jobs.
Yes.
Experience. There's,
Yes.
there's not a lot of stuff out there. Job fairs, you're going and you're not sure, applying for jobs, newcomers, no experience. So this caters to a wide range of people who are looking for something, who can't afford a franchise,
Yes.
who cannot get a job,
But still has a good business
but
sense.
still has a good business
Yes.
sense. We're looking for people who are business-minded, who want to do something more, who want to get somewhere,
And all they need is $99.
and or less.
Or less.
Some companies are $39. Some are $49.95 to start.
No.
So
Okay.
That's
now, Allison,
amazing.
have you ever been in a network marketing company yourself?
yes, I have.
Really?
Yes.
Have you made lots and lots of money?
You know what? I made really good money for getting in for myself for the first time, and people
Yeah.
were impressed by it because some people don't make money. And what I realized was that because of the training or the leadership. So this is why Tone came about. We wanted good leadership. It's like having a good teacher or having a good host
Right.
who would lead you well,
Like-
right?
like you.
A great cameraman, who will teach you the ropes. So Tone is about bringing together some of the best network marketing companies in the industry with the best consultants who will get people making money.
It kind of reminds me of, when you're in school and you have that one teacher that's
Yeah.
really, really bad,
Yeah.
and you hate that subject for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
you do, you
and
do.
then you have a teacher who is really good and teaches you on a subject you're not good at, but you
Yeah.
love that subject because they influenced you the rest of your life.
You know what? This is what Tone is about. It's about getting the best in the industry, leading people who do want to make that money. They don't want to have the bad experience. They want to be taught. They want to be led. They want to be coached and mentored. The businesses that will be focused here will be at the event are some of the nicest people. They're making money in their business. They've been in there for more than 6 months, and people are going to be happy to be business partners with them.
Are you going to be mentoring one? Because you should be.
I should, you know what? I do small business coaching for people with startups, so those people I would help them.
Okay.
So that's what I do
Okay.
the other days instead of putting on events. So helping people with a small startup is where I specialize. I love small business, absolutely love it. I believe that everybody should have one.
That's the engine of Ontario. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Hugh, you knew that,
I knew
didn't
that.
you?
Yeah.
Of course. So you see, and speaking to the last guest or the second last guest, Kate Ashley, we were talking about being creative. This gives us an opportunity to be creative and try to make money too, right?
Exactly.
So maybe it's combining them both.
Yeah. Well, we're combining a lot of things. Again, we're looking at you go to school, you come out, you have debt, you get married, more debt, you have children, more debt. We live paycheck to paycheck. Now we have the payday loans, and the payday loans are in between the paychecks.
Yes.
This is how bad it has gotten.
Yes.
Do you know
You're
what
right.
I mean?
That's a very good point.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
So for $100 or less, you can start a small business, making that extra couple of $100, and then learn the business. It's a business. So not because it starts at $100 mean that it's worth $100. Network marketing is a multi-million-dollar,
It might be your whole
trillion-dollar
future.
industry.
Okay, but go ahead, sorry.
Well, you go. You're all excited about it. Not that I'm not.
No, you know what? I was going to say, because to your point earlier, there seems to be some negative
Connotation, yeah.
connotation regarding multi-marketing and that kind of thing. Why is that?
Because of the fact not good teachers. We go
Okay.
right back. The simplest way to say it is that people don't have the proper leaders to follow. So of course, like in any business, like I looked at a Kentucky Fried Chicken that was closed down in a particular area, and I was like, wow, a Kentucky Fried Chicken closed down? Probably not good enough leadership. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think structural leadership, coaching, mentorship are all things people need when they start a business.
Okay, so the people, when they come to the Tone Conference, which is April 14th,
Yes.
are going to get some of this leadership,
They're
right?
going to get some of that leadership. They're going to talk to people.
Who are some of the
who are
people
doing
that
it.
you're going to be having there that are going to be speaking? And
So
what
three of the speakers there, one is Moira Sutton. She's a life coach, success breakthrough. So she helps people discover what they want to do, break through that barrier that keeps us back.
we've had her on the show.
You've had Moira?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
See? Good. Great. Well, I've been on your show too, so that's
Exactly.
good.
That's what I'm saying.
You have all the best people
okay,
on the show.
prerequisite for having your own business is you have to have the confidence of this
Yeah.
diva. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Your
Well,
confidence
I
is
love what I
amazing.
do. I love, I really championing people to
And that
even
comes
take a
through
look at it.
in
yes.
spades. Wow.
And then we have the networking king. His name is Jermaine Moody. He's flying in from Chicago.
Whoa.
Amazing networker. He's gone all over the world networking.
How
and
did you get
teaching
this
people.
guy?
Well, you know what I did? I networked.
Wow.
LinkedIn, awesome. I sent him
Wow.
an email, followed up with a phone call. He's coming to Toronto. You have to
Wow.
learn to network.
Amazing.
You know
She's
what
a
I
good
mean?
networker.
I'm a great networker, and I want to teach people how to do that. Yes, I know you don't know, but there's simple things that you can do. Just going to events, you know?
Yeah.
Get out there. Do the networking. Talk to people. Close mouth, close business. So,
Wow. I'm in awe of this woman. Wow.
you know, so I'm inviting everybody to come out, and today for a special, if you call me and say that channel, you saw me, you'll get free tickets to come to the event.
Cool.
Okay, let's give a
How's that?
deadline on that.
That's
Not just right now,
excellent.
but after, because this is going to be up online after. So
Okay.
let's give it a deadline. When, how late can people do that?
Well, Friday's a holiday, so
Yeah.
let's go till Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
When's the 14th?
Next week, Saturday, so they have a few days.
So
Well,
why
let's
don't we
go
make it
till
till
into next week.
Yeah.
Next week or which
Yeah,
day?
give
You
it
pick.
some, let's
Some
go
oomph.
till next,
Wednesday?
no, let's take it to Friday.
Yeah, okay,
Wait,
let's do that.
What day is it? The event?
Saturday.
Saturday.
It's Saturday. If they call you from this
Yes.
till next
Said
Friday,
that channel, they gotta
which is
say
the
that.
You gotta say
13th,
that channel.
Yes.
13th, that channel, you're going to give them some, what, free tickets?
Free
did you say?
tickets to come to town because we want people to come and experience this event. It's not a trade show. It's not an exhibition like a vendor show. You're not buying any products. Business-minded people looking for a business that they can start up relatively small cost.
Okay.
That's what you're looking
No,
for.
okay, so it's on the Saturday. What time does it start?
It starts at 10 o'clock and
Yeah.
it goes till 6. Our speakers are on at 11:30,
Yeah.
2:30, and 4:30.
So let's paint us a picture. They're going to show up at the, it's at the
Radisson Hotel?
at Vic Park and
401.
near Consumers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what, you know, so what's going to, they're going to see some speakers, but what else? Are they going to have
Well, we're going to have
booths?
the exhibitors there, yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, we have right now about 10 different exhibitors that they can talk to. This event is not just about taking flyers off the table and taking cards. And again, it's about networking and really getting to know the people behind the business that have
That's
are
important
featured
too, because
That's important.
how often have you gone to one of those meetings and you go, I don't want to hang out with these people, you know?
Exactly, but if you get to know somebody, and that's my
It's like
mantra,
going to a
know you,
Christmas
like
party,
you.
work party.
Yeah,
You just
know
don't
you,
wanna
like
do
you,
it.
will do business with you. So
Yeah, you want to do business with people you want to do business
that
with.
you like.
Yeah.
So the only way you can get to know somebody is to spend a little time with them. So at Tone, people will have that opportunity to spend a little time with the person for that business. So the top consultants.
Wow.
We have a single mom with 3 kids divorcee. She's online within a year to make 100,000.
Wow.
Right, and she started in
Wow.
this business not knowing anything about the business. She's going to be on hand. We have another gentleman from India. His choice was to go back to India or do something else, and he chose multi-level marketing. He's now in 6 figures.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
started with $100. Can you imagine starting a business with $100 and in 7 years making 6 figures? This is what Tone is about. It's about starting with very, very little, but having the potential, once you're able to work with it, to make a lot of money at doing this.
So what would you say is if you had to narrow it to one ingredient for success for a person, if they're coming to this,
Yes.
okay, what's the one thing they would need to have?
Business mindset.
So that's more important to you than passion?
No, passion, yes, but you also have a business mindset.
Okay.
Some people have a passion for their job. And that's not a bad thing. Some jobs are great. You're getting everything. You're working with people you love the salary, you love the vacations, and you don't have to think much. You just, do your thing. But having a business mindset is a different ball of wax
Okay.
altogether, because everybody's different. Some people want, they do it. They try all kinds of different businesses until they get to where they want to go, but they always do a business.
Well, that's a really good point too, Alison, because a lot of people are not successful the first time around,
No,
right?
they're not. It actually,
They say it takes three times around to become.
you know what? I actually heard 13 or 14 times.
Wow. Wow.
Right, and that's
Wow.
from Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, who's a huge motivational speaker and writer.
Isn't that interesting?
In
Okay.
small businesses, what we're lacking is coaches and mentors.
Okay.
Because we take our kids to a teacher and a coach, but why don't we do it with small business?
Yes.
With network marketing, it's a system already there that you just plug into. for
Yes.
very little, where you'll get the mentor, you'll get the motivation, you'll get the support, which is so needed in small businesses.
So you're really set up to succeed. Like a lot of businesses, you're set up to fail. A lot of companies, you're set up to fail, really.
Yes, exactly. You put a lot of money out.
Even if you have that business
Yes.
sense, you can be set up to fail.
You are set up to fail because you're putting a lot of money out. You're worried about this. You don't know where to go, where to advertise, business cards. It's a lot of stuff. With a network marketing or multi-level marketing company, everything is there for you.
Well, you know,
the system is there.
The other really good thing I was just thinking too is, if you're investing $99, okay, okay, even if you lose that $99, the pressure's off, right? If
Exactly.
you're investing $99,000, then there's a lot more
Yes.
pressure, and you know what? You can't think clearly.
Yeah.
That's
so your
true.
business sense goes out the window.
I like you.
I like you.
Awesome. Yeah, so at $99, you're right, the pressure is off. Now you start to learn about the business.
Because even if it takes 12 times or 13 times
Yes.
before you become successful at 99, that's not bad. That's
not
still
a bad-
okay.
That's a doable startup.
You can still work at Kentucky
That's a
Fried
good
Chicken
dinner.
while you're
That's a
doing
nice
that.
dinner in Toronto,
Yeah.
$99.
Yeah. That's so you skip the dinner.
You skip the dinner and you come out to Tone, get them for free.
Heck, that's a movie. In
Yeah.
the movie, you know what? $99 is like you're taking a date to a movie. and-
Exactly. And it can
That's
change your life.
nothing. Yeah.
And it can change your life. Success is not a chance, it is a choice. So coming to Tone, you're giving yourself that choice to succeed.
Okay, Allison.
Ah,
All right. So
beautiful.
it sounds good. I'm sold.
You're
Me
so-
too.
$99,
So how,
I'm
wait,
willing
so
to drop
if
that
they,
right now.
Where do they call here to say they've
No.
seen it or
They
what?
can call me, 416-880-3622.
Okay.
Yes, call
Okay.
me.
And do you have a website or something?
Yeah, Tone, T-O-N-E,
Yeah.
E-X-P-O.com.
So there's two
What about
E's
an
then.
email?
Email, info@toneexpo.com.
Why don't they send, if they can
Yeah.
they get the prize if they email you?
Yeah, they can get the
Info
price. Yeah,
at
info@toneexpo.com.
Dot
Mention
com.
her zebra shirt.
Mention,
Yeah.
well, mention that channel. How's that?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to have you on,
Thank you
Allison.
very much.
Thanks
Wonderful
for doing
energy.
this.
It's gonna be a
and that's
wonderful,
just
wonderful show.
tells you a little bit about how networking pays, which you're going to find
Yes.
out all about at the
I can see
Radisson.
why you're an amazing networker,
Thank
though.
you.
So that's it for the show.
Excellent. Oh my God. It's like I blinked.
Yeah, you blinked and it was over.
Am I
And
good?
You're great.
You're
But
fantastic.
the show's over now, Allison.
Okay,
but
thank you.
thank you for
Thank you.
coming. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you all.
Take care of your cold.
Oh, I'm all better already. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at noon
So
from
take
Murder
your
Lunch
chance to
right
be
here.
infected.
TheChannel.com. See you then.
It's only one man, one king, higher than I. Bless his name every morning when I kiss the sky. From the beginning, man is sinning against you. Don't you know we hate you? Don't need to hold you down to rape you. Just take you, date you, young, manipulate you, impregnate you, and procreate you. You wanna rush, but I'm begging you to wait, boo. Just hesitate, cause I'm trying to educate you. Open your eyes, now I'm trying to elevate you.